My personal maid is a time traveler. She thinks she's hidden it perfectly. But little does she know that before her, I'd already had one of her fellow time travelers put to death. The only reason I kept her alive was because I noticed the way she looked at me was filled with pity. I am the Empress, with a father and brother holding great military power. I am above everyone else save for the Emperor. She's just a lowly maid. How dare she pity me? My maid Xia Zhu is a time traveler. A few days ago she was given a beating. When she woke up, her soul had been replaced. Don't ask me how I know. If you ask, I'll just say I have experience. Before her, I had already executed a time traveler. Xia Zhu thinks she's acting quite convincingly. But in truth, from the first moment I saw her, I saw right through her. She is no longer the original Xia Zhu. But life has been so boring lately. I decided to find some amusement for myself. I wanted to see if she would act the same as the last time traveler, talking about equality for everyone, while desperately trying to climb into the Emperor's bed, dreaming of using her status as a palace maid to steal my position as Empress. That evening, I was strolling in the courtyard. Suddenly, a voice at the door. The Emperor is here. Oh, what a rare guest. I hurried to greet him. Why do you have time to come here today, Your Majesty? You know, recently because of the floods in the south, the Emperor has been so busy he hasn't had a moment to rest. He hasn't even stepped into the harem for over half a month. The Emperor took my hand and walked into the palace. He looked so deeply affectionate. Finally catching a breath. I just wanted to come and see you. You haven't even sat down yet, have you? He said, seemingly casually. Let's see the date. Su Changzai is about to give birth, right? My heart skipped a beat. Changzai. That transparent little nobody who usually receives no favor. Even if she is carrying the dragon's seed, the Emperor hasn't visited her many times. Why is he suddenly so concerned today? I raised an eyebrow, my words laced with thorns. The Emperor is busy with 1,000 tasks, yet he still remembers Su Changzai's due date? The Emperor held my hand, smiling with doting eyes. Is the Empress jealous? Once she gives birth, I'll have the child brought to you to raise. At this, his tone suddenly turned heavy. The imperial physician said your body is weak, and it's hard for you to have children in this life. I really don't want you to have any regrets. I'll send you a son. I've been married to the Emperor for many years, but my belly has never shown any movement. The imperial physician did say that it's hopeless for me in this life. But that doesn't mean I'm a collector of scraps. I have to take whoever's child it is. I was just about to refuse, when I caught a glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I noticed Xia Zhu was staring at me intensely. That look again, that inexplicable pity. I am the Empress. My mother's family is of noble birth. My father and brother hold great military power. Why should a mere maid? Is it because I can't have children? Or does he know something I don't? Of course I refused. She carried it for 10 months. What does it mean for me to take it? If it's raised well, that's expected. If it's raised poorly, I'll just be asking for trouble. What do I have to gain? But I calculated everything. Except for how thick-skinned the Emperor is. On the day Su Changzai gave birth, the Emperor didn't listen to me at all. He had the nanny pack up the child and send it over directly. It was a little prince, all wrinkled and shriveled, ugly as a monkey. The nanny watched my expression while fawning over me. Your Majesty? If you like him, keep him. If you don't, send him back. I subconsciously looked at Xia Zhu. Sure enough, the pity in her eyes was even heavier. There was even a hint of fear. I waved my hand. Send him back to Su Changzai. The nanny was stunned for a moment. There was no choice but to take the child away. Everyone else get out. Xia Zhu, stay. The moment the door closed, the pity in Xia Zhu's eyes instantly turned into terror.
Is er daher?
Slowly I asked Xia Zhu. But Your Highness, this servant wouldn't dare. These knees are softer than the last one. Know your place. I looked down at her from above. Do you take me for a fool? I don't have the patience to waste words with you. Speak, what is really going on? Xia Zhu hesitated for a long time. If I say the wrong thing, it's a death sentence. The Empress is not stupid. It's just that this servant feels. The Emperor giving you Su Chongzai's child is not to make it up to you at all. My eyelid twitched. I hid the cold light in my eyes. Then what is it for? We've been married for so many years, and the Emperor and I have always been a model couple. Good things are sent to my palace like a flowing river. He also spends the most nights in my quarters. Who would dare offend me? The Emperor would be the first to deal with them. The whole world thinks the Emperor favors only me. No one has ever doubted his devotion to me. I want to hear what kind of ivory this time traveler can spit out. Xia Zhu struggled for a long time. She must have heard about the time traveler thing. After a long while, she seemed to let go of all caution. Does your highness know that Consort Shen is also about to give birth? Consort Shen, the daughter of the Minister of Revenue. She's only been in the palace for 2 years. She's well-behaved and sensible, never competing or fighting because of her poor health. She usually doesn't have much presence. She had a major illness 2 years ago. The Emperor, out of respect for her father, excused her from morning greetings. I didn't expect this sickly woman to be so lucky. The Emperor didn't visit her many times, yet she actually got pregnant. The timing is indeed about the same as Su Chongzai's. I asked coldly, why mention her? This servant dares to guess. The Emperor giving you Su Chongzai's child is to block your path, to kill your desire to adopt Consort Shen's child. Xia Zhu, do you know what you're saying? This is talk that could cost you your head. Xia Zhu kowtowed loudly. This servant knows. Her eyes were calm. Consort Shen is weak. If she gives birth to a prince, adopting him to you would make him the legitimate heir. That would be the best choice. The Emperor is using Su Chongzai's daughter to occupy your spot. I caught my breath. I remembered. When Consort Shen was first found to be pregnant, I joked with the Emperor. If she gives birth, I want to adopt it and raise it. At that time, the Emperor didn't say anything. Not long after, the lowborn Su Chongzai just happened to get pregnant. Su Chongzai's father is just a small official. Consort Shen's father is the Minister of Revenue. The Emperor's scheme was so loud I could hear it all the way in the Kunming Palace. I stared at Xia Zhu. Aren't you afraid I'll kill you for saying this? Afraid. But this servant is more afraid that you will die with regrets. Good, very good. I immediately had people investigate. Su Chongzai's premature birth was because she fell on a rainy day. The imperial physician said both mother and child were safe, but the fall was suspicious. She was almost full term. I was also excused from morning greetings. The roads are slippery on rainy days. Why wasn't she staying properly in her room? Why did she have to go out? I had people inquire in secret. While calling the imperial physician for questioning, the physician insisted that Su Chongzai was in good health. Although the little princess was premature, there was no major harm. The matter of the Emperor wanting to give me the child, the whole palace knew. These imperial physicians are all cunning foxes. They definitely wouldn't tell me the truth. I originally wanted to ask about Consort Shen's situation, but the words died on my lips. If the Emperor is really as Xia Zhu said, he is guarding against me. If I ask now, I'll just be alerting the enemy. I called my trusted maid to go back to the general's mansion on my behalf. The Imperial Hospital recently got a new one, called Divine Physician Liu. He is the personal disciple of the Valley Master of the Divine Physician Valley. He was originally here to treat the Empress Dowager. Now he has become a favorite in the palace. But the strange thing is, that medicine jar Consort Shen hasn't even let Divine Physician Liu see her once. One day at dinner, I picked up a piece of food for the Emperor, smiling as I probed him. I heard that Divine Physician Liu's skills are remarkable. Consort Shen's body is so weak. Why not let Divine Physician Liu take a look at her? Even if it's just for recuperation, that would be good. I stared fixedly at the Emperor's face. The Emperor didn't even pause his chopsticks. His tone was indifferent. Divine Physician Liu has been seeing too many people lately. Her body is full of illness. Consort Shen just finished giving birth. It might be counterproductive. Let's wait until the full month is over. Anyway, Consort Shen's weakness isn't a one-day affair. Unstable. He's guarding it so tightly. He won't even let a divine physician see her. The Emperor is indeed thoughtful. The little prince is indeed precious, but what? Consort Shen has now given birth to a prince for the Emperor. She is a meritorious official. Shouldn't her rank be raised? Lady Xin gave birth before Divine Physician Liu entered the palace. Unlike Lady Su, although Lady Shun was physically weak, Her child was born naturally after a full-term pregnancy. Labor started early and was quite a struggle, and she didn't give birth until midnight. As the Empress, I should have been there to keep watch. But because of my family's status, over the years, whenever the palace women gave birth, I never went to stay by their side. The fact that I cannot have children of my own is known by everyone in the palace, so those concubines were more than happy for me not to go. No one wants the child they carried for 10 months to be eyed by me, the Empress. Given the Emperor's favoritism toward me, if I wanted the child, he certainly wouldn't stop me. Lady Shun was credited for the successful upbringing and was promoted to the rank of consort. Among the titles drafted by the Internal Affairs Bureau, the Emperor chose the character Chun as her title. On the day of the little prince's 1-month celebration, the banquet was held in Consort Chen's palace. Because she was weak, I allowed her to live in her own separate palace. Over the years, aside from the Emperor, the maids, and the eunuchs, it seems few people have ever stepped foot in here. Since Lady Su had to look after the little princess, she only sent someone over with a congratulatory gift. Consort Hui, who also has no children, accidentally had a few too many drinks. She originally had a child too, but that child died before reaching a year old. Since then, Consort Hui never became pregnant again. Xia Zhu leaned into my ear. Your Majesty, Consort Hui just accidentally sprained her foot. I turned my head to look at Xia Zhu. All the concubines present today have been drinking, so it's inevitable some might lose their composure. The imperial physicians are men after all, so it's inconvenient for them to come and treat her. My gaze swept past Consort Chen. Very well, go and invite Divine Physician Lu over. Consort Chen looked like she wanted to say something but hesitated. The nanny by her side immediately spoke up. Your Majesty, it's time to nurse the little prince. I looked up at her. What? Is Consort Chen actually nursing the little prince herself? Consort Chen nodded slightly. My body has recovered well now, so I wanted to nurse him myself. I met Consort Chen's gaze. As for nursing the little prince, leave that to the wet nurse. Today your sisters from the harem have come specifically to celebrate with you. If you aren't present, wouldn't that be far too rude? Consort Chen pursed her lips. After a moment she sat up straight with composure. Then I shall do as your Majesty says. Before the palaces were locked for the night, Divine Physician Lu quietly came to my cunning palace. The moment she saw me, Divine Physician Lu's eyes were filled with smiles. Sister Yu, it's been years since we last met. How are you doing these days? Divine Physician Lu's original name is Lu Zheng. She is my aunt's adopted daughter. She leaned in close. Sister Yu, I've taken a quiet look. That Consort Chen is in very robust health. She doesn't look like someone who has been seriously ill. During my time at the Imperial Academy of Medicine, I wanted to find a chance to check her medical records, but I couldn't find them. I was stunned. You couldn't find them? I originally wanted to ask around in secret, but those physicians at the academy, regarding anything related to Consort Chen, they seem extremely wary. I was afraid of alerting the enemy, so I didn't dare ask too much. I took Lu Zheng's hand. Our Ajing has grown up. Lu Zheng smiled bashfully. Just as she was about to say something, her expression suddenly changed. Without a word, she placed her fingers on my wrist to take my pulse. Seeing this, the smile on my face gradually faded. After a long time, Lu Zheng spoke with a solemn expression. Sister Yu, the reason you cannot conceive is that someone has given you drugs to make you sterile. After the nanny saw Lu Zheng out, I summoned Xia Zhu. Just like last time, the anxiety in Xia Zhu's eyes couldn't be hidden. I scrutinized her. Did you know that Divine Physician Lu is my sister? Xia Zhu's legs buckled, and she knelt directly on the ground. I knew. My hand inside my sleeve slowly clenched into a fist. Speak, what else do you know? Last time Xia Zhu told me that the Emperor's love for me was all a lie. The so-called great favor was merely to use me as a living target for his true love. Everything the Emperor indulges me in now will become the reason for my deposition in the future. Xia Zhu spoke with resentment. I also know that, when your Majesty's father and brother return to the capital for their posts, the Emperor will frame them for conspiring with the enemy and treason. The entire Song family, except for the 6th young master, even the youngest children will die tragically. Even you, your Majesty, will be ordered to commit suicide. I suppressed my overwhelming doubts. I know you are a traveler from another world. But how could you know? These things that haven't happened yet? Xia Zhu's expression shifted slightly, but finally she came clean, because the world you live in is actually a novel. And I have entered the book. Through Xia Zhu's patient explanation, I understood the difference between transmigration and entering a book. Her fellow villager was a transmigrator. Regarding what would happen in our dynasty, she knew nothing. That's why she only thought of climbing into the emperor's bed. But Xia Zhu entered the book. She knows the direction of the entire plot, but unfortunately the emperor and consort Shan are all just supporting characters in this novel, so there are some details she isn't clear about. The male lead of this book is your sixth brother. When you and the Song family met with disaster, the Song family servants used their own child to swap identities with the sixth young master. They sent him out amidst the chaos. The sixth young master lived under a pseudonym, endured immense hardships, and eventually cleared the Song family's name. Hearing this, I couldn't help but feel a bit of comfort. So that is to say, the emperor and consort Chen do not have a good end. She was about to say more, when a knock sounded at the door. Nanny Qian had arrived. Nanny Qian was the person I sent to investigate Lady Su's premature birth. Your Majesty, I have found something. The reason Lady Su fell that day was because the pearl necklace she was wearing broke. Lady Su accidentally stepped on the pearls rolling on the floor, which led to the princess's premature birth. This is the pearl necklace Lady Su wore that day. I discovered traces of tampering at the break. It was intentional. Then where did you get this from? If someone wanted to harm Lady Su, they wouldn't leave such a huge piece of evidence behind. This pearl necklace was a gift from the emperor to Lady Su. So after the incident that day, Lady Su's maid picked the necklace back up. Nanny Qian paused, hesitating for a moment. I was afraid of being discovered, so I replaced it with a fake one. But I discovered that Eunuch Shu, who serves the emperor, quietly took that necklace away. Xia Zhu and I looked at each other, a terrifying suspicion forming in our hearts. Act as if you know nothing of this. Do not breathe a word. Regardless of whether Lady Su was favored, she was carrying the dragon's seed at the time. The people in the Internal Affairs Bureau would never dare to be careless about such things. Moreover, this pearl necklace was a gift from the emperor. Everything was now clear. I intentionally feigned illness and summoned my mother to the palace. After the emperor found out, he sent many supplements and tonics to me. In the past, at times like this, my heart would be filled with joy. Women, who among them isn't a bit vain, being treated specially by the emperor, it gave my vanity great satisfaction. But looking at it now, I only feel irony. Since learning from Xia Zhu that I was just a living target, I had people secretly watch the movements in Consort Chen's palace. On the surface, the number of times the emperor stayed at Consort Chen's palace had never been many. I checked the records. When Consort Chen was still Lady Shan, the emperor only went there once a month. Now, perhaps because of the little prince, he has gone twice. But these are just the public records. In the dead of night, the emperor often goes alone, quietly slipping into Consort Chen's palace. He stays for most of the night and leaves quietly before dawn. Aside from Consort Chen and the head eunuch by the emperor's side, no one in the palace knows their secret. Thinking about it, it makes sense. If one hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would believe that an emperor could do so much for one woman? When my mother arrived, Xia Zhu is telling me stories from their world. Seeing me leaning on the couch, Mother thought I was truly ill. Her expression was extremely anxious. I immediately took Mother's hand. Mother, I'm fine. After dismissing everyone, I spoke up. I used the excuse of being ill to summon you to the palace today because there is something I wish to discuss with you. Seeing that I was fine, Mother finally breathed a sigh of relief. She sat down beside me. What could be so important that you had to use such a reason to get me into the palace? Daughter dreamt yesterday that father and brother had returned to the capital. Mother was stunned upon hearing this. Is there any official report on their schedule? Your father and brother will return to the capital by the end of the year. I handed the secret letter I had written in advance to Mother. I heard there are many novel things at the border. I want brother to help me bring some back. Everything I want is written in the letter. Please, mother, send someone to ride with all speed. To deliver this letter to brother as soon as possible. In the letter, I used a secret code that only brother and I can understand. Even if this letter falls into the Emperor's hands, he won't be able to make anything of it. As for mother, she's just like me. We have lived in luxury for too long. Knowing too early what the Emperor is doing might not be a good thing. If it can be kept hidden, that would be fine. But if the Emperor notices any clues, I fear things will spiral out of my control. During the wait, Xia Zhu told me more of the plot written in the book. But as for me, the Empress, I actually don't appear very often in the book. Xia Zhu talked more about other people's affairs. For example, after the entire Song family was wiped out, how hard Xiaolu's life was, and what she did later. When she took revenge for the Song family, the fate of the Emperor and consort Chen, Xia Zhu repeated to me many times. If I hadn't listened to it over and over, I don't know if I could have suppressed the hatred in my heart. To Xia Zhu, this world is just a novel. But to me, it is reality. How the Emperor chooses to dote on consort Chen, I wouldn't have an opinion on it. Long before I married him, I knew he would have a harem. Countless concubines. The Song family helped him ascend the throne. He doesn't have to be grateful. He can even be wary. But he shouldn't have framed the Song family with the crime of treason. My father and brother guarded the border for years, their bodies covered in blade and sword wounds, yet in the end they died from trumped-up charges. And my relationship with him was considered harmonious, and I never schemed against him. But he, while comfortably enjoying the sacrifices of the Song family, was also using me as a shield for consort Chen, and even fed me sterilization drugs. All these years, out of trust for the imperial physicians, and because Lu Zheng lived in the Divine Physician Valley, I had never let Lu Zheng check my pulse. If she hadn't stumbled upon this by accident, I probably would never have known until I died that my inability to conceive was caused by the Emperor. I cannot swallow this insult, and I don't intend to. After Shunjiaoi received the title of Liangdi, she gradually made a name for herself in the harem, plus she gave birth to a prince. So naturally, the clever ones in the palace would notice her, not to mention that I was secretly fanning the flames behind the scenes. Soon, someone noticed the Emperor's difference toward her. Consort Hui said sarcastically, "Sister Consort Chen, you certainly have more good things in your palace than anyone else." Consort Hui is an old acquaintance of the Emperor Li Yin. Li Yin doesn't necessarily like her that much, but he still gives her some face. She also thought she was special to Li Yin, until she noticed consort Chen. Love, like hate, is very hard to hide. The person Li Yin loves most is consort Chen, so whenever he has something good, he naturally can't help but secretly send it to her palace. First, when I didn't know, I exempted her from paying respects, but since I know she is in good health, this exemption can no longer continue. Consort Yang, who is of the same rank, also said sourly, "Even the titles are better than the other sisters?" Yes, same people, different fates. Sister Consort Chen was promoted to consort rank just for having a child. It's truly enviable. Consort Hui's look at Consort Chen was full of jealousy. "Sister Liangdi, your luck is much better than ours." She paused and shifted her gaze to Changzai. Although Su Changzai and Sister Consort Chen were pregnant around the same time, it's a pity she only gave birth to a princess. And it was a premature birth. And Su Changzai, who was mentioned by Consort Hui and Consort Yang, had a face so pale it had no color left. But because her rank was low, even when humiliated like this in public, she could only endure it. I placed the teacup in my hand on the table. "All right, you may all withdraw. I am tired." The other concubines who were watching the show immediately composed themselves, stood up and took their leave. I shifted my gaze to Su Changzai. "Su Changzai, you stay." Su Changzai's eyes were hesitant, clearly feeling uneasy, after everyone in the hall had left. Su Changzai asked tentatively, "I wonder what instructions the Empress has?" I threw the pouch that Nanny Qian had brought back in front of Su Changzai. Su Changzai's face turned white, and her fingers holding the pouch were trembling slightly. "This should be my item. Why is it with the Empress?" I thought she asked a stupid question. If I hadn't had someone bring this here, would you still be able to see it now? Su Chongzai bit her lip. I don't quite understand what the Empress means. I looked at Su Chongzai's appearance, meaningfully. You understand. Otherwise, why would you eat and live with the little princess? Inseparably? Originally, I hadn't intended to be so blunt with Su Chongzai, but I discovered she is not a fool, and has already vaguely guessed the truth about her premature birth. And although her father is just a small magistrate, her brother is a capable man. Su Chongzai suddenly knelt before me, crying and begging, "Please, Empress, show me a way out." From that day on, Consort Chang was frequently harassed and schemed against by the harem concubines. Li Yin also came to my palace more frequently. Many times. He just came to sit, eat with me, chat, and didn't mention anything about spending the night. This actually made me breathe a sigh of relief. Ever since I learned about the things he did later, I felt incomparably disgusted. Even though Li Yin has a handsome face, I could no longer be close to him. And even eating together, I felt sick. Every time he left, I would vomit once. Fortunately, such days did not last long. One day, while Li Yin and I were dining, a message came from the Song residence saying my mother was ill and that several doctors had been called, but none had seen any improvement. I immediately put the chopsticks in my hand on the table and looked at Li Yin with pleading eyes. "Your Majesty, I would like to take the divine physician Lu to see my mother." Li Yin showed a look of concern. He said gently, "Do you want me to accompany you?" I felt mocking in my heart, but I said, "Your Majesty allowing me to leave the palace is already a grace. How could I dare to delay your Majesty's important affair?" If Li Yin really wanted to accompany me, would he have asked me again? He is truly hypocritical. Li Yin smilat. Very well, if that's the case, I won't force you. What he doesn't know is, my mother isn't actually sick. It's the same reason as the last time I saw her. Mother claiming to be ill this time was just to get me to return to the Song residence because my brother had secretly returned to the capital. In the study, brother was looking at me with a puzzled face. "Hey you, after receiving your secret letter." I rushed back in secret. "Tell me quickly. What exactly happened?" I let out a long sigh of relief and told brother about discovering Li Yin's plot to frame the Song family, but I omitted the part about Xia Zhu transmigrating into the book, only saying that she had inadvertently discovered some clues, and I had secretly paid attention, which is how I noticed Li Yin's schemes. Brother was stunned for a long time, unable to believe it. "This matter is of great importance. Do you have any evidence?" I looked up and met brother's eyes. "Regarding the treason charge, I haven't obtained evidence yet, but Ajing checked my pulse and confirmed that I cannot conceive. It's not that my body is weak, but that I was fed sterilization drugs. There are so many imperial physicians in the palace, all of them highly skilled. But no one discovered this. Brother, why do you think that is?" Hearing this, he gritted his teeth. "It's too much." Once his anger subsided, brother asked again, "You, what do you plan to do?" I recalled what Xia Zhu said. The ending of the Song family in the book. "Brother, do you know that if Li Yin's scheme succeeds, what will become of the entire Song family?" I smiled bitterly. "Not a single member of the Song family will survive, including me, only by removing me, the stumbling block. Can Li Yin's beloved concubine Chan ascend to the throne? With such a perfect opportunity to accuse the Song family of treason, Li Yin certainly wouldn't keep me. Although my brother is a military general, he is equally sharp-witted." His expression shifted slightly. He stopped speaking. "Are you thinking?" I nodded earnestly. "Brother, this is the only way for our entire Song family to survive." I only stayed at the Song residence for one night, and the next day after breakfast, I took Xia Zhu back to the palace. Everything that needed to be said, I had already discussed with my brother. It was precisely because of that long night of conversation that my eyes were dark and weary. When Li Yin saw my haggard appearance, he actually believed it. "My mother is seriously ill," he said with a look of pity, and he even sent many precious medicinal herbs to my mother. Besides that, he had the imperial physician send me a bottle of pills again. These are new pills developed by the imperial physician to nourish the body. The Empress doesn't want to raise someone else's child, so I want to make an effort to let the Empress have her own child. I suppressed the nausea in my heart and feigned surprise. "This is..." Lilin Nuda. "The Imperial Hospital has been trying to find a way I was afraid the Empress couldn't stand the bitterness of the decoction, so I had them made into pills for the Empress to take easily. Seeing Li Yin's hypocritical face, I couldn't help but want to laugh if I didn't know that my inability to conceive was caused by him. Hearing him say these things now, I might have been moved to tears. I feigned hesitation. But isn't it true that the imperial physician said that I can never have my own children in this life? Li Yin didn't change his expression. Previously, things hadn't progressed yet. I was afraid of giving the Empress false hope, so I told them to keep it from the Empress. I only want you to be happy. Hearing Li Yin's words, I almost couldn't help but vomit. My stomach churned. Yet I still had to pretend to be grateful. Your Majesty, what virtue or ability do I have? Li Yin's eyes were filled with smiles. As he urged me to remember to take the medicine, then he made an excuse about having memorials to review and left my cunning palace. I didn't delay for a moment. I poured a pill out of the porcelain bottle and handed it to my maid. Send this pill to the Song residence. Give it to Miss Liu and ask her to help me see what this pill is for. I don't believe Li Yin would be that kind. And the truth was exactly as I expected. This pill is not as Li Yin described. It is meant to treat my infertility. It will slowly make me weaker, causing me pain, but not enough to kill me. Recently, concubine Chen's days haven't been easy. Is His Majesty trying to vent for concubine Chen? Xia Zhu said indignantly. Yes. Li Yin is doing this to vent for concubine Chen, under my deliberate instigation. The differential treatment concubine Chen received in the past all gradually surfaced in the eyes of the palace concubines, in a place that eats people without spitting out the bones. How many are actually fools? I'm not afraid of being laughed at, but I want concubine Chen to taste it herself. The schemes I suffered on her behalf in the past, but Li Yin's reaction was still beyond my expectations. He values concubine Chen even more than I thought. He was only upset for a few days, and Li Yin came eagerly to take revenge for her. I toyed with the porcelain bottle in my hand and couldn't help but look forward to it. The day my father and brother returned to the capital to report for duty, the Empress's little porcelain bottle is so exquisite. I suppose it was another reward from the Emperor, right? Everyone's gaze immediately focused on my hand. I glanced at concubine Chen from the corner of my eye. Although she tried her best to endure it, her gaze still uncontrollably drifted toward my hand. I looked shy. This was specially developed by the imperial physician for me at the Emperor's request, a pill to nourish the body. It is said that it will make it easier for a woman to conceive. I said this on purpose. Because of Li Yin giving me contraceptive medicine, he didn't let concubine Chen know. This bottle of pills took a lot of effort from the imperial physician. How could I let it gather dust in a corner? As my words fell, concubine Chen's complexion turned pale bit by bit. I pretended not to see it. I have many more pills like this. Since concubine Chen has been raising the prince for the Emperor, let's reward this bottle to concubine Chen today. After concubine Chen received the medicine I rewarded, within 2 days she had a conflict with concubine Yang. Concubine Yang accidentally pushed concubine Chen into the water. Li Yin was furious. He demoted concubine Yang's rank by 2 levels, and also revoked her tablet. When Nanny Qian told me about this, I was reading a secret letter from my brother. She and my father were already on their way back to the capital to report for duty, and the things I asked him to do were all done. I burned the secret letter. As the letter burned to ashes, Xia Zhu, tell me about your world. A look of longing appeared on Xia Zhu's face. She pondered for a moment. The world where this servant lived was divided into different classes. Some people were born into what was equivalent to royalty, while others couldn't even afford to eat. Hearing this, I couldn't help but be a little surprised. The previous Transmigrator kept talking about how everyone is equal. But I heard a different answer from Xia Zhu. I heard a different answer. But education was very cheap. Everyone had to study for many years. No need to kneel to anyone. Women could also go out to work and earn money to support the family, although it was a monogamous system. But for those rich people, they would still keep mistresses in secret. The biggest difference from this world should be the means of transportation. We have airplanes and high-speed trains in our world. One can travel thousands of miles in a single day. And mobile phones. Xia Zhu chattered on and told me a lot. They were all things I had never heard of. I looked at Xia Zhu, my gaze softening bit by bit. I have been thinking about a question. Why were you so honest with me in the beginning? Aren't you afraid that after I use you up, I will kill you? Transmigrating into a book was Xia Zhu's secret. And also her weapon. If she didn't confess voluntarily, even if I racked my brains, I couldn't guess her true origin, including the things she knew. According to Xia Zhu, she must have studied for many years. Thinking of an excuse to deceive me, I believe she can definitely think of one. But Xia Zhu knew that I had ordered a Transmigrator to be executed. Yet she still chose to be honest with me. I can't figure it out. Isn't she afraid I'll kill her? Joy. But this servant knows, the Empress is not the type of person to burn bridges. When I first read this novel, although this servant knew it was all fake, I still felt very sorry for the Empress's plight. I felt the Emperor was not a good person, irresponsible, and vicious. Xia Zhu spoke up now, without any regard at all. I didn't expect that when I opened my eyes, I became the person serving by the Empress's side. Speaking of this, Xia Zhu couldn't help but smile. When this servant first saw the Empress, I was even thinking, could it be that even the heavens couldn't stand it anymore? That's why I was sent to the Empress's side, by the Empress's side, to help the Empress see the true face of the scumbag. Even a female cannon fodder can have a golden finger. Afterwards, it snowed several times in the capital. Li Yin also lost his temper several times. Concubine Chen's father was reported for corruption. Li Yin had no choice but to detain Minister Shen at home. He sent his trusted aides to investigate the corruption case. When the water is too clear, there are no fish. I understand this principle. Li Yin understands it too. As long as it wasn't done too excessively, Li Yin would turn a blind eye. But he never dreamed that someone would dare to expose this matter. The matter caused a huge uproar. Concubine Shan claimed illness several times and didn't come to pay her respects. But I heard that Concubine Shan cried several times in the palace. Her eyes were already as swollen as a rabbit's. This fire burned for more than half a month, in a place where Li Yin couldn't see. More rumors are quietly spreading. As for Minister Shan's corruption case, the evidence is ironclad. Li Yin had no choice but to fine Minister Shan a sum of money, plus half a year's salary. Though he handled it lightly, it truly made Consort Shan fall ill. As for the court officials' reaction to Li Yin's handling of the matter, they were angry but dared not speak out. After all, the last official who raised an objection was forced to retire to his hometown. The day before my father and brother returned to the capital, Li Yin coughed up blood. All the imperial physicians went to his bedchamber. Yet they were at their wits' end. The emperor's pulse was truly strange. All the physicians looked grim. No one dared to prescribe medicine rashly. Li Yin seemed to have aged 10 years overnight. The physicians looked at each other. One of them bowed to me. Your Majesty, the Emperor's condition is too complex. Could you please ask the Empress to bring the divine Dr. Lu back to the palace? I chuckled inwardly, but I put on a worried expression. What a coincidence. Divine Dr. Lu left the Song residence a few days ago. He said he was going on a journey. Li Yin was still in a coma. The concubines in the bedchamber were all kneeling, both eyes filled with tears. Yet no one dared to cry out loud. I waved my hand. Consort Chen, stay behind. Everyone else, you may leave. Consort Chen looked at me in surprise. She immediately lowered her head. The physicians remained inside the hall. Consort Chen and I were outside. Could tell. Consort Chen was very nervous. I carefully looked her over for a moment. To be honest, Consort Chen is indeed very beautiful. But that is not the reason Li Yin is so fond of her.
Li Yin adores her.
Because she gave him warmth when he was a child. If Li Yin hadn't done those dirty deeds, I might have respected him for that alone. I could have looked up to him. But there are no ifs in this world. I didn't do anything to Consort Chen, but she developed a high fever that night. I took the opportunity to have the nanny take the little prince away from her. Consort Chen's illness came on suddenly. The little prince is still young. If he catches the illness, who could bear the responsibility? After Li Yin heard the news, he was so angry he coughed up blood again. He had me summoned. Barely containing his rage. The little prince is still young and cannot be separated from his mother. Empress, you should return the little prince to Consort Chen. I smiled. Is the emperor afraid that I will keep the little prince for myself? Li Yin's expression changed slightly. You flatter me, Empress. The physician has already developed a pill to regulate your health. The Empress will soon have her own prince. Why would you need to take Consort Chen's? I couldn't help but laugh. I'm afraid I will never have children of my own in this life.
Li Lin smiled forçadly.
Empress, don't let your imagination run wild. You will have a prince sooner or later. I shook my head. That won't happen. The medicine the emperor gave me, I gifted it to Consort Chen. Li Yin's face darkened visibly. But I slowly curled my lips into a smile. Consort Chen, in order to bear children for the emperor, has been taking those pills every day, hasn't she? Li Yin did not answer me. He looked grim. He said loudly, "People." No one responded to him, because my father's troops have already returned to the capital. Everyone around Li Yin has been taken down by my people. I sat down slowly. I know you painstakingly had that medicine made, but it all ended up in your beloved Consort Chen's stomach. Is the emperor pleased? Li Yin glared at me in anger. Songyu, when did you find out? He seemed to realize something. You poisoned me. I smiled. That's right. You didn't know, did you? Divine Dr. Lu is my sister. I pointed to my stomach again. We are husband and wife. There must be give and take. Li Yin understood my hint. His face turned pale with rage. The muscles in his face were twitching. Yet he could do nothing about me. If you do this, aren't you afraid I'll have your entire clan executed? I was amused by Li Yin's words. Li Yin, I never knew you could be so naive. Do you really think I would come unprepared? The palace guards have all been replaced by the Song family army. Yes, I am going to rebel with my father. This is the only way out for our Song family. I have thought about killing Li Yin, becoming the Empress Dowager, and ruling from behind the curtain. But would the new emperor be wary of the Song family just as Li Yin was? If that's the case, let this land change its name to Song. After learning this lesson from Li Yin, I realized that when it comes to fate, it's better to be in control yourself. I don't want to pin my hopes on anyone. Even if Li Yin's sons are still young. Li Yin is bedridden. He couldn't even speak, because I had someone cut out his tongue. I imitated his handwriting and wrote the abdication decree. Only, the throne wasn't passed to his sons, but to my father. Naturally, there were court officials who opposed it, but their daughters and even their grandchildren were all in my hands, where Li Yin couldn't see. I had long used Xia Zhu's foresight to secretly win over the concubines in the harem. Over the years, all the dirty things Li Yin had done, I had Su Chongzai's brother quietly spread among the common people. To the common people, who becomes emperor, doesn't matter. Whoever can feed them, they will support. As for the infamy they might face later, who cares? It's enough to enjoy life while you're alive. As for what happens after death, I can't hear or see it anyway. Until my father ascended the throne, I didn't feel a sense of reality. It turns out that changing a dynasty wasn't as hard as I imagined. I still lived in the harem, but my title changed from Empress to Princess Royal. I gathered all of Li Yin's concubines. Those who were willing to return home and remarry, I would provide their dowries. Those who wanted to stay in the palace to retire could stay. I wouldn't force anyone. I pointed to Nanny Qian. How you choose? Think about it yourselves. Once you have an answer, just tell Nanny Qian. We are all people who have suffered. I don't want to make things difficult for anyone. As for Consort Chen and Li Yin, they were different. On the day my father ascended the throne, I sent Li Yin and Consort Chen away with a pot of poisoned wine. My father's claim to the throne was not exactly honorable, after all. Li Yin, the former emperor, though his tongue had been cut out, as long as he was still alive, he could become a threat. I didn't want to leave any hidden dangers for myself. As for Consort Chen, while she was alive, she couldn't stand openly by Li Yin's side. So I fulfilled her wish. I sent her to be with Li Yin in the afterlife as husband and wife. At my suggestion, Xia Zhu became my father's daughter. I spoke calmly. From now on, we won't call you Xia Zhu. What is your real name? You can use your real name from now on. Xia looked dazed. Really? I was amused by Xia Zhu's reaction. Xia Zhu had been sold into the palace by her parents. One day, they knew their daughter had been adopted by the emperor. It would likely cause unnecessary trouble. I hate trouble. And I don't want Xia Zhu to bear burdens and responsibilities that aren't hers. Xia Zhu restored her original name, Lucia. She lived in the same palace as me when I was bored. I remembered what Lucia said about women being able to study. Xia, let's open an academy. One that only accepts women, regarding the world Lucia lived in. I had longed for it for a long time, even if I can't see it with my own eyes. But there are some things I can do. Like the Women's Academy, after my father learned I could never conceive. He felt immense guilt. I only had to mention it once, and he had already sent people to find teachers. I only need to say the word. And someone will take care of everything for the Women's Academy. As Lucia and I toured the academy, we talked about how everyone is equal. Sounds wonderful, but in this world it's impossible to achieve. The previous time traveler talked about equality many times. Although Lucia didn't say it, I know she yearns for it too. The nobility won't just sit by and watch their privileges be taken away. Nor will they tolerate commoners standing on equal footing with them. Just as Lucia said, being born is a technical skill. Many things are actually determined the moment you are born. All I can do is let the women of this world know that there is more than one way to live. The Women's Academy officially opened after the Mid-Autumn Festival. Women who come to the academy don't have to pay tuition. And the academy even provides them with meals, pens, ink, paper and inkstones. After being certified by the teachers, they can even get a job with a generous monthly salary. Under these conditions, many commoners sent the women and their families to the academy. Even married women came to inquire about it. On Lucia's suggestion, the academy does not offer courses in music, chess, calligraphy, or painting. The teachers only impart skills for making a living. Lucia and I visited a few times, and she couldn't sit still, so she went to give a lecture to those women. She talked about things that don't exist in this era. Yet it wasn't hard to understand. Seeing Lucia's animated expression, I felt deeply happy. The road ahead is still long, but someone has to be the first to pave the way, so that this path can become wider and wider.